Hi and welcome to the end of my 2365 projects on my Instagram account. They were sort of inspired in a way by my walks with my dog and also by Matt Walkley as well. And I sort of decided I wanted to start doing 2365 projects after my stroke to get me back into photography because I wasn't using a camera, and I basically decided to use my iPhone. So I started the whole project with my iPhone. I finished it with my iPhone, and I worked all the way through it with the phone as well. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I did. The only camera I've actually used over the last couple of years is this iPhone, and also the Canon G7X Mark II for a bit of other things, but I've hardly used it. And once I used my X-T3 for a couple of jobs for Ford, but that's about it. So basically I've been using my phone for a long time, and it's very interesting when you use your phone for a long time just how easy it is. It's in your pocket, you've got a camera with you everywhere you go, you never forget it, so that's really helped. So when I started off the projects, the first image taken on my project, which will be the last image at the end of this video, was not actually the image, or was not actually the way I intended it to go. So the first image in my weather project was actually a picture of Speke Hall, and it didn't turn out the next day to be exactly the same as the way I thought, and that's what happens with projects sometimes. The difficulty is you can't go back and reshoot it, and in theory I could have just started the project the next day and excluded the image, but I'll always look back at this project and think to myself, no, that was the wrong image, I did it wrong, I start again. I did exactly the same a few years ago with a portrait project I did. The first couple of images didn't work, but I left them in just because I wanted to see the journey. Some of the interesting facts about my project are I've lost 1,000 subscribers from Instagram. Not that I care, but I have. And as soon as I started my project, people started falling off. People, I guess, were used to my street photography and my other types of photography and were following me for that reason. So it was to be expected that as soon as I diversified that I would start losing some followers. To be honest, it doesn't really bother me because it's not what it's all about. People that follow my work and know me will always follow me, and if they're following my work because they just want to follow the work and that changes, they will change and they'll go somewhere else. That's absolutely fine. I don't actually know what I'm going to do next, I will tell you that, but let's go back to the beginning of the project. So beginning the two black and white 365s, it was going to be a path project and a weather project. The first image from the path project never changed, and nor did the first image from the weather project, except I changed my idea. So the first ever image of my weather project was of Speke Hall, and then it changed the next day to low horizon. I don't regret that. I will always keep it in. I like the way it's gone from then on. So every single image on my weather project has showed a low horizon with mostly sky. The irony is you can't really see what it's doing that day. I've been out in all weathers. It was actually snowing today, but you can't see that in the image, but you can tell it in the sky. So on rainy days you can see the rain clouds, and on a snowy day like today you can see the snow clouds. But you can't actually see the raindrops in most of the images unless the ground's wet, and you can't see the snow. So even though it's a weather project, it was sort of inspired by, I see a couple of people have done a sky project on Instagram, which I thought was completely boring, to be honest with you, because taking 365 images of just a sky every day, if you go through a whole summer period and the sky's blue, well, that's a pretty boring setup, to be honest with you, and good luck to them for doing it. But I thought to myself, I need to add something else. If I'm going to do a weather project, which was also inspired by a group I was I wanted to make it different. I have been really lucky this year in a strange way that we haven't had many blue sky days. So I have had the advantage over a few other people that have done these projects where most days, and the time I go out early in the morning, we've had some detail in the sky or some form of clouds in the sky. There's been very few days where it's just looked grey in the black and white. So both these projects are shot in black and white. They're both in my Instagram account at Matt66. I'll put the details below. You can go through and you can scroll all the way back to the first Speke Hall shot, and you can have a look at all the images if you so want to. I'm not going to put them all in this video, it would just be too long. And 365 images in this would be just hours of you sitting here looking at my images, and I'm sure you don't want to do that. So when I started it all off, yes, it was going to be paths, and yes, it was going to be weather, and I expected when I actually started this project to go through all the seasons and be traveling all over the country and getting some great inspiring photographs of quite boring subjects. Then the lockdown came on, and then the lockdown's come back on again, and I've only managed to be in Scotland once, the Lake District, and a couple of other places that aren't just Liverpool. But I've done my best. I've tried not to photograph exactly the same path in exactly the same place in the exactly the same piece of sky. I've done it from different areas and different places, even though I've photographed the Mersey quite a bit, and I finished off with a shot of the Mersey today. It's actually in different parts of the Mersey. Not that it really matters. I've had to work with what I've had this year, as we all have. I'm quite pleased with the project. I don't like every single image, but that's the point of a 365. It helps your journey and it helps you grow, because you have to go out there every day and take a photograph. If some of you now are staring down at this lockdown thinking, oh, what am I going to do? And you've got a camera or a phone, get out and give it a go. Shoot 365 images of something over the course of this year. I mean, I've just done 2 back-to-back. So the path and the weather work quite well in my Instagram feed, because you've got a path, then the weather, path, then weather, and it looks quite good. Over in my other account, Matt66 Color, I'm doing a litter project, and it sort of makes my feed look messy. And I've lost a few followers through that as well, but I've gained a few as well because it's a new account I opened. So it's a bit funny, and I'm not really, as I say, I never worry about things like that. At the end of the day, it's my place to put my photographs, and it's my journey. I've lost a little bit of faith in Instagram. It's a real shame. You can't find new followers and you can't see new things, because Instagram's all about adverts, and it's actually destroyed a really good platform for photographers. I think it's funny, really, isn't it? Everyone talks about gentrification. All the creatives, photographers, artists make an area really cool, and then the builders move in and gentrify everything and build new flats and kick all the artists and cool people out. That sounds like Instagram to me. I mean, Instagram was created and founded by photographers, and then they're all getting kicked out for adverts of all these influencers. Strange goings on. And Instagram is quite funny, as a lot of people think it's really bad for young people's health because it makes them think they should be a certain way, etc. I just use it to put my photographs in. I've given up with Flickr. I've given up with a lot of the other photo platforms. Someone said yesterday that Twitter was a really good photography platform and they should develop it. Maybe they should, but the only downside is you can't go back and look at every single image you've put in there. So I do use Instagram for my albums for these type of projects. I don't think I'm going to make a book. I did say at the beginning I'll make a book, but making 2 books of 365 images in a book, I don't know about that. So the project itself, the weather project was 4:3 format and the path project was square. So as you go through the images, you'll see one of each at the beginning of this video and at the end, and I'll put a few images at the end. The project on this video starts backwards. So the end image is at the beginning, and there's a few images from the beginning at the end. It's just the way I decided to do it, because I just wanted it to be a little bit different. The project's been amazing for me. On a physical level, I've been out walking every day, 7 miles a day, 10,000 steps and above. It's kept me fit. It's kept me fit, especially during a lockdown, because every day I go out and I'm looking forward to actually take my photographs and walk the dog, etc, etc. And I didn't know how that would work out, and Matt said to me, well, if Jake's in it, he's in it, and if he's not, he's not. And I've sort of tended to do that. I've lined up the shot, and if Jake walks into the shot, I've left him in it, and if he doesn't, it's without Jake. So that's just the way it's gone. Lessons learned. Not every photograph has to be perfect. And some days I've gone out and I've gone for a walk and I think I've taken the shots that I've required, and I didn't take them all and I missed one. So then I've had to pop back out again and do another one. So it's been a little bit rushed sometimes. And I think you can tell that in the work. Not every images in a 365 is going to be perfect. Some are going to be below par, some are going to be above, especially when you picked quite bland subjects like weather and paths. You're not going to have amazing things unless you're doing amazing things every day of the week, and I wasn't. My litter project over on my other Instagram account, it's going okay actually. I'm learning new things every day. It was funny, I had planned to do a certain shot for day 200, and I'd noticed litter being put in this certain place on top of this flower pot, And I thought on day 200 I'm going to photograph that because it looks really funny. And I went back and it had gone, all the rubbish had gone, and there'd been a litter bin put next to it for the bin men. So all the rubbish gone, couldn't take the photograph. And it's been a little bit like that with weather and paths as well. You never know what the weather's going to be. You never know what's going to be on a path or whether the path's going to change, or if at the moment where I walk at the moment they're actually building a new housing estate, so they've actually cut off 2 of the paths I wanted to use this week. It's just life. I just suck it up and move on. I hope you've enjoyed the project over on Instagram if you have been looking at it. If you haven't and you've never done a 365, this is a good time during this lockdown. Honestly, get out there, shoot a 365 over the next year and watch how things change. I'm not doing anything else on my black and white Instagram account this year. I'm going to concentrate on more on making YouTube videos, and I'm going to shoot some images that I like each day for my black and white account when I go out. And when the rubbish project's finished over on the other account, I'm going to shoot some more colour images on there, mostly with my phone. I've not got back into using proper cameras yet. As I say, I just use my G7X Mark III when I go out mostly. And that's just for taking a few photographs and then processing on my iPad. And I'll probably get used to using other cameras again at some point in time. At the moment, I do so much walking, I just don't want to carry the extra camera gear with me. I don't think I need to. The phone does the job I need. For Instagram or little things like that, or even making these videos, I use my phone. The phone's an iPhone 11 Pro Max. It's a big phone. The cameras are brilliant, absolutely amazing. I've used it all the way time. I've used it all the time. I'm absolutely shocked at the image quality out of it for what I use it for. And also I've only ever processed all my images in Instagram, and if I use any other software apart from Instagram that's on my color account, and I use Snapseed or something as simple as that, I don't use Lightroom or anything else. I just try and use the phone and the apps that are available to it, and I don't really use filters. I actually process every image to how I want to see it. So anyway, I won't bore you any longer. If you want to look at my images, please nip on over to my Instagram account and have a look. And I shall do some more videos over the coming months. And especially now I'm not doing these, I'll have more time to talk when I'm out with Jake than I will do looking for photographs to take. So take care, look after yourselves, have a great week.